Hello, Hearties, and welcome to the Hearties Hotline, your connection to Hope Valley, hosted by Caroline, myself, Kami, and Kaycee. Thanks to Brian Bird for letting us use the music on our show. Now grab that paprika-filled shepherd's pie and sit back and relax. Here we go.
Welcome back, Hearties, to the Hearties Hotline podcast. Today we have a very, very special episode for you guys, and I am so excited and so honored to have our guest, Charlotte Hegele, who plays the wonderful, feisty Julie Thatcher on When Calls the Heart with us. Welcome
the
to
one
podcast.
and only. True that, one and only. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Oh, we're thrilled to have you. More than we can say.
Yeah. So how have you been during this time of quarantine? I know this has been a really crazy year.
Yeah. I think every person's life during COVID has changed dramatically. Mm-hmm. So I try to take it just each day at a time. So I have days when all I do all day is paint or do something that's not like, work. Mm-hmm. But then I take that as a positive. Now I'm growing a little bit now as an artist, So I just try to focus on the positives each day. And I've been taking online classes. I've been working a little bit this year. I've been auditioning. Mm-hmm. I've been getting to spend some time with my parents, which is really lovely.
Yeah.
Their wiener dogs.
Oh, fine.
Yeah. It's been, I've just been, what's the best word to describe it? I think I've just been taking it gently. Not being too hard on myself.
Yeah. I mean, we need a lot of grace during this time, just
definitely
taking it easy. And I have to say, sometimes I don't take it easy and I need to, I just go crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a lot of anxiety in the world because there's so much uncertainty, right? So I think in our lives that we can have some control or some routine. I think that's really positive. So I did the whole, I'm going to get so buff during quarantine. I'm going to work out every day. I'm going to do a YouTube workout video. And I did it maybe for a week and a half. And then by the end, I was like, I have no results. This is spam. And then I'm back to my normal, going on a jog, not doing weights or anything. But I know.
So that's a fun fact. You paint in real life, just like Julie Thatcher.
That's
awesome.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I don't paint as well as Julie. All of the art you see on the show is done by set design. I pull my hand in the last minute and I do the last stroke.
It's look at my beautiful work.
I've been sitting here for hours drawing. No.
So fancy, So let's get to know you a little bit better. How did you get your start in acting?
Well, I went to, after high school, in high school, I did a lot of plays and community theater. I did everything from musicals to Shakespeare. And then in college, I decided to go to an acting program in Toronto, Canada, where I'm from.
Yeah.
And it was 2 years. So I actually graduated college with a certificate when I was 19. And I think this is an important fact because a lot of my peers went to a 4-year program.
Uh-huh.
So they started 2 years after me. And as much as I don't want to admit it, I hate saying this out loud, acting, the younger you can get into it, that sometimes because they really love with teen shows, they really love working with young people or people who look young.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So I thought that was a huge step up for me. So I also got 2 years of actual on-set experience. And I was so lucky. After school, I signed with a fabulous agent who I'm still with after 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Apparently this is really unheard of. Apparently lots of actors switch agents,
Yeah.
but I've just lucked out. Alicia is she's the best agent.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
That is amazing.
Yeah. And it was just good timing too, because she was looking to sign. She only signs clients every 2 years, 2 clients every 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And my resume was on the top and she brought me in and interviewed other girls, but we just decided we clicked really well. And then a year later, I got Bomb Girls, which
Right.
ended up kind of solidifying for me that I can do this.
Yeah.
I'm not half bad. I'm not. And then from there, it's just been a roller coaster of a career, because, in film and TV, you kind of go from, even if you're the lead of something, as soon as that project's over, it's almost like you go back to square one a little bit, because you have to audition again and you have to look for your next job. So you always have to have that drive and passion consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Okay, I have to ask, this isn't on the list, but favorite musical and favorite Shakespeare play, because that's exactly what I did in high school.
Oh,
and
really?
Yes.
Nice.
So,
Okay, then I want to hear your answers. We'll have to compare.
okay, well, you first.
Okay, I love Chicago. Back in high school, I did like Coffee House, and like I did When You're Good to Mama, the Queen Latifah song. And it was hilarious. Like, I don't know why I chose that song, but I was like, it's a sassy song. And and it was hilarious. Everyone liked it. And for Shakespeare, I'm going to say Twelfth Night.
That's a fun one.
One of the characters I played was Olivia.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking. It's a great question. How about you? What are your favorite musicals?
Oh, gosh. Of the ones I've been in, because Wicked is probably my favorite musical. I love Wicked, but I was never in it. Gosh darn it. It wasn't around until I was in college, and then, it was brand new. So of the musicals I was in, I would probably have to say Hello, Dolly. I loved Hello, Dolly, and I was actually Dolly. So that was really fun.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Amazing. And then, it was amazing. And then Shakespeare, probably Comedy of Errors. Because my director, he did such a fabulous job with it and guiding all of us, and he made the role of the Duke into a Duchess, and then I was the Duchess, and so there was a lot of behind the scenes stuff and context in our characters, and it was some of the deepest that I went into a character.
Wow.
And she was only in 2 scenes, but I loved it, and watching the guys switch places on the stage was just funny.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So.
I've read it. I read it ages ago, and then I saw it at Stratford.
Oh,
in Canada we have Stratford, Ontario, which is similar to Stratford, England.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and they put on Shakespeare plays, and I saw it when I was 16. It was really good. So that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's
I remember the first time.
That's great.
Yeah, I didn't have red hair then, though. So, sadly, no. I remember.
You'll just have to reprise it. You'll have to just come back. You should do an episode where you just have. Wouldn't it be fun? Like, because actors are so multi-talented. I feel like it would be fun, like to do something like this, but to have like the different actors from a show bring in their special talents, like a variety show.
Man.
That would be fun. I mean, I don't act. I would enjoy it as a viewer. I mean,
we'll get Andrew Walker to come in as a juggler.
I know.
I like the sounds of that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that would be hysterical. And then we'll get Chad Willett to play the guitar, because I know he plays the guitar. So
there you go.
There, done, settled.
All right.
All right. Well, speaking of period pieces, you've done quite a few in your career. Bomb Girls, Murdoch Mysteries, Rain, When Calls the Heart, obviously. Mm-hmm. Do you find that you prefer period over modern? Or do you like modern better?
It's hard to say. More modern pieces, I find, I don't know. Modern pieces kind of change the plot. There's something about period pieces that are so, because you do research. Every time I do a different project, I research the time period. Mm-hmm. I try to understand. Even when I'm doing like an audition, I'm like, well, what would my hair look like? Mm-hmm. Where would I be? Like, how would I be sitting? Because if a corset, like I wouldn't be doing this, I'd be doing something like this. So,
right.
So figuring those things out that add to your performance, which is with modern day stuff, the craziest thing they'll put you in is Spanx, it's not usually that much research. And I also find that with period pieces, beyond it being just so romantic, right? Like getting to go in and getting your hair done and putting your lipstick on, and then suddenly feeling like with Bomb Girls, I looked like my grandma.
No way! Yeah. That's awesome.
So it's just so poetic. You're just like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. And now I get to act, and with more modern day stuff, it just changes I think I find it too, it changes the story, because in modern day pieces, you have cell phones, right?
Right.
Which really, like, there's certain technology things that just change how a story flows. Whereas if it's period, things can be more tense, I guess. There's more dramatic buildup sometimes because of the lack of technology involved.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I find that the story shifts, and
there are more hijinks you can have in period pieces, because now it's like, we're having an argument, let me just text, oh, that's over, there's no misunderstanding because we have everything at our fingertips. Whereas back then, you can have all the hijinks, like in When Calls the Heart, when you run off with Tom. Like,
we can't just use Life 360 on Julie.
You can't just find my cell phone, Julie.
Right.
Yeah. But no, it's so true. And like with Bomb Girls, there's a scene with like, thinking of cell phones, where she's at a rooming house, and there's one phone for every girl in the house. And we're just like waiting to use the phone. And that's like kind of an ongoing joke in the background of shots. Right. There's always a lineup for the phone. And it's just, it's just so different. But that's also really endearing. I think those differences are quite endearing. And it makes you, honestly, like, putting on that being said, obviously when you go on and shoot something, you're in front of a camera. So it's not like you're completely transported back in time.
Right.
But we are. You are. Oh, yes.
The viewers are.
Very true. But you do feel like once you get the whole costume on and you're on the set, that's period. You do. You get like a tingly feeling. At least I do, like of butterflies, where you just feel, it's just very romantic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I enjoy that feeling. So I do enjoy doing period pieces, and I'm very lucky that I get to do so many. I've been told it's because I have a face that looks like I could have been old, like I could have time traveled to this time. So I think
we agree.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
So what would you say? Obviously, the answer would be When Calls the Heart, but putting When Calls the Heart aside, what would you say would be your favorite project that you've ever worked on?
And I can't say When Calls the Heart?
You can't say When Calls the Heart. Because that's the obvious answer,
Yes. I think Bomb Girls. I've been revisiting Bomb Girls recently, and I don't usually watch myself on camera after the fact. Like, I'll watch it with my mom if she's like, please watch it with me. It's like, how can I say no? I'll watch it.
No, can't.
But I'm like hiding behind a pillow, like peeking over, being like, like I just get so embarrassed. I'm like, I don't want to watch myself. But with Bomb Girls, because it was so long ago for me, I feel like it was like, look at me, like little me, and I'm like, oh, I was a baby. Oh, so I watch myself now with more, like I feel like nostalgic, but also very like, it's also, sweet.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't see it as me. I see it as a young me. So Bomb Girls, I've been rewatching recently, and it's a really fun show. Like, it just as an audience member, I would, if you Hearties are looking for some new drama in your life, I would recommend checking out Bomb Girls. I know it's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, it is? Oh, yeah. Yay. I was about to say, I don't think we have it here in the States, but I'm going to go and look for that.
I think you do. Hopefully, I mean, knock on wood. I'm pretty sure you have it in the States.
Oh, yay.
So it's just, it was just, because you also have the memories of shooting it. But watching it back as like a viewer, it's been great. I've been really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, and then you also look like your grandmother, which puts in another personal tie.
Yeah. It was really special. It was a great show to be on.
I bet.
How many seasons was that?
It was 2 seasons.
Oh, 2 seasons.
And then we did a movie.
Oh, okay.
So the movie's like a little bonus. Like it's an
Right.
extra 2 hours at the end that sort of ties stuff up.
Okay.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
Won't
Yes.
spoil
No
it.
spoilers.
Yes, because we're going to go back and we're going to find this and watch
We
it.
are going to watch it. Would you consider it a family-friendly show?
Yeah, I mean, it was on like at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. I mean, like it's on right now in Canada. I think it's airing on Yes channel, which is our Christian channel.
Oh,
In
okay.
Canada. So, but I wouldn't say it's not like, I wouldn't necessarily say some of the plots wouldn't be appropriate for young children because it's also about the war.
Yeah.
Right.
So people are gonna, spoilers, people died in the war. and you have to deal with that. So there's like a reality there that may not be appropriate for young kids. And then there's also, you know, again, like the worst thing beyond kissing, there's a sexually transmitted disease.
Oh.
So that's like a plot point. Someone gets something. And it's like my favorite line of the series, if I may say it. Like, it's not my character, but I love it when she looks over, she goes, Hazel McDougal gave you the clap? And it's like the best line because it's like, who would say that in modern day? Like, only
nobody.
In the 1940s. Yeah. So that's probably the worst thing that happens on the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to segue into our favorite character here, Julie Thatcher, of course.
The one we love to get ticked off at.
Yeah.
I know you and me both. I feel like I need to, but that's the thing when you're acting, you don't want to judge your characters, right?
Right.
For me personally, I always try to somehow justify it.
Yeah.
Like even if you read it, you go, oh my gosh, Julie. You just have to go, no. She's like to make it real, you have to
be her. Yeah.
You have to figure out a way to make it not so, because she's not judging unless she's judging herself in a scene.
Right.
Judge her.
Yeah.
You know? So it's kind of sometimes it's just bringing this like, what's the word I'm looking for? Naivete. Is that the word?
Yeah. Naivete.
Where you're just like, well, she's just young. She's just in love. Of course she's gonna go to the train station with a boy with no GPS, and hopefully no one finds her. And then of course,
and she can just live on love.
And of course they can live off the trust fund, even if she gets cut off. Yeah.
Julie.
Yeah. How old is she supposed to be?
That's a good question.
I think she's still in her 20s because she's the youngest sister of the three.
Right. Yeah.
So Elizabeth is the middle. And I always assumed she was close to my age. So I think at the beginning of the series, she was in her early 20s or maybe like even 20.
Okay.
We guessed 18, 19. So.
Oh, okay. Because it would be dependent, I think, on what the age of Elizabeth would be.
Right,
exactly. Because I always saw her maybe like 3 years younger than Elizabeth.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah, that would make sense.
But they're still close enough that when they were growing up, it wasn't like there was a big gap between the two of them. They were more peers, or she was still the older sister, but they were more peers than like a much older.
They were closer than Viola.
Yes,
definitely.
What was the audition process like for Julie Thatcher?
Ooh, this is a good question. This was, okay, so I was shooting Bomb Girls when I got this audition.
Oh.
And it was due the next day.
Oh, my word.
That night, I actually got invited, and I never usually go to industry things, like industry events, because I get a little, I get a little shy. And also I was very busy at the time, but I got invited to go see the Dallas Buyers Club. And a bunch of Canadian like filmmakers were going to be there. And I was like, I really want to go. But then I get this amazing audition that I have to shoot tomorrow morning. And then I had to be on set right after. So I was like, I could do it all. Like I had this I had this insane amount of like, you can do it. And so I remember sitting in a coffee shop across the street from the where the screening was going to be, where the Canadian premiere of Dallas Buyers Club was going to be. And I was on the phone with my dad, God bless him, running lines with him like over and over and over for Julie. And then I went to the screening, I went home, got a good night's sleep, woke up very early, and then went and shot the audition with like in a studio.
Right.
So now because of COVID, I shoot a lot of my auditions sort of like this. Like
Right. Yeah.
For safety, but back, years ago, pre-COVID,
pre-COVID.
I would go to a studio.
Sure.
And we sent it. And I honestly think it was like, we sent it on a Thursday, and I flew, and I got the part the next day just from that one audition. And I flew to Vancouver that weekend, and I was on set on a horse, because I had also said, don't tell him this, I said I could ride horses.
You pulled a Kevin McGarry.
Everyone does it. So in my defense, I have ridden horses, but it's not like I've grown up on a ranch and I've always ridden a horse, which I think they thought I did. So when I got on set, they were like, can you ride side saddle and a corset? And I was like, well, let's see, like, give me a horse. Okay, and like, sure. And so on the first day, I'm pretty sure that was one of our first scenes, was me on a horse. So
you coming around the bend.
Yeah.
Yep, in Julie's fashion. Just a little dramatic. Just a little. Goodness. But anyway, so yeah, and I can't believe, like, so it was less than a week. It was maybe 5 days between getting the audition and then being in Vancouver.
Wow.
So that was really great.
Yeah.
And then being on a horse.
And being on a horse. And being like, I know what I'm doing. Right? Like, my horse's name was Jerry. And I think he said it was like after Jerry Seinfeld. And I was like, oh, okay. And Jerry and I had like good days and bad days. There were days when Jerry was like on it. And there were other days when I think he wanted a more experienced writer. God bless him. Like, he was just, there was one moment when like I was supposed to come down a trail. This is, I think, in the episode 10 in the first season, coming down a trail, and they had the light was shining through the trees in this very like, gorgeous way. And they were like, okay, Charlotte, go ahead. And I was like, and I have my little leg, like, I can't show you because I'm sitting down with my legs. Imagine my arms are my legs. And I'm like whatever you say to a horse, like, go. Yeah. And he's like looking back at me, and then he like looks around, and he literally turned around from his mark and walked back to the barn and went back into his little bed area. And I'm like, no, this way. And everyone's like, it's the wrong way, Charlotte. Run another way. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm just, and then I'm like, oh no, everyone knows now I lied and I don't know how to ride a horse.
Oh my goodness.
I was just like, I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And they were like, you just need to be a bit more authoritative. Assertive. Like, you need to just be a bit more confident.
Yeah.
Who knew? But anyway. So.
Man.
Oh, that is funny.
I know. Everyone was just like, Charlotte, you're going the wrong way. And I was like, I know.
But
I don't know what
stopping. There are no brakes.
There are no brakes. So, in his defense, it was like 4, 5, like 6 in the morning, and I too wanted to go back to bed.
To be fair. Yeah.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Other than that, Jerry was a professional.
Of course.
Through. Yeah.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah. Besides being young and naive, was there any particular thing that you gave Julie when you were crafting the character? Were you inspired by somebody? Did you pattern her after somebody, or was it just out of your own genius?
God bless you. Thank you. Yeah, I honestly, sometimes when you get a part, it just resonates a certain way. And I will say this for When Calls the Heart, it's a very well-written show. You don't often get scripts like that. And then in the audition, you have a fully formed character.
Yeah.
Literally overnight.
Yeah.
But I think it was just because the script was so clear to me when I read her how she was going to be. And I didn't have time to watch the movie, because I know before the season was shot, they had, but I didn't even know there was a movie. I knew there was a book series, so I had done research over the book series. before filming to get a sense of her.
Mhm.
Really, it wasn't like I had based her on the previous actress's work from the TV movie. It was just very much from my own imagination. And also trying to, in those moments where you're like, Julie, why? Like, I was always trying to be like, well, this is how I would justify it.
Mhm.
You know, like I'd always have that, like, this is why Julie does what she does.
Right.
And that sort of thought process made it really easy to then find her mannerisms, to find her sweet, like, just, you know, because I think ultimately Julie just really, like, you know, what's a bigger motivation than wanting to fall in love?
Right.
So
Biggest
like,
motivation there is.
for most of us anyway.
Yeah.
Love and money.
Yeah, Julie was probably just reading too much Pride and Prejudice and really liked the character of Lydia, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think she was just but then that's the other thing. As much as people want to think that she's not smart. Not that anyone's ever said that, but I think that there was like this assumption. But she's she's a really big reader.
Yeah.
You know, she is a smart person. She's just
willing to put all of it
she
aside.
doesn't have the street smarts.
There you go.
That makes sense.
Smarts. Yeah. And I think that, you know, it's really lovely. Oh, I mean, we'll get into this, I'm sure, in other questions, but her evolution, because I've never had a character evolve on screen over seasons. She was in the 6th season. So yeah, that's been a really fun process.
Oh my goodness, I can only imagine. Well, the movie version of Julie is far more conniving.
Oh, so quite different.
Yes.
Yeah, she was downright mean. So, so at least Julie had that going for her in the series. That she wasn't downright mean.
So. Did you end up watching the movies after?
I did.
You did.
You did.
Okay.
Years ago, yeah. And then I realized. So then, but I'm kind of happy I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I may not have gotten the part if I was influenced by those choices, but who knows? You know,
you got to build your own character.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. And, I mean, Erin Krakow got to build her own character for Elizabeth too. So, because she's not exactly like the original movie version. They're very similar, but the movie Elizabeth's way more naive, I think. And then Julie in that version is definitely way more conniving. Whereas, you know, series Julie is fun and playful and just like,
just needs some help. Just needs a little help.
Yes, at least in season 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I think she was a nice foil in moments for Elizabeth. And you could also then see what Elizabeth could have been.
Yes.
You know?
Very true. Very true.
I think both sisters were versions of what how Elizabeth could have turned out if she had had certain core characteristics that then led her to Hope Valley.
Right.
Yeah.
So how alike or how different are you from Julie?
We know you paint.
I mean, yes,
true.
You paint.
True. I do paint. I'm, you know, I wouldn't say I'm necessarily. I do like to read, but I wouldn't necessarily pick romance novels as my go-to genre. I find. Yeah, actually, this was one of the hardest because I had skimmed through the questions earlier today to like have it like to know because I felt like I was preparing for a test. Oh no, I need to know what I have to say. But most of the questions you've come up with are great, and I didn't have to like overthink it. But this one I was challenged because I feel like because again, season 1 Julie is so different than season 5 Julie.
Very. Yes.
And I find that. In season 1, I wouldn't necessarily say I was quite as a boy focused. Like I've never been that focused on finding
that focused.
She is focused.
Yes.
To the point where she gets kidnapped. And oh my goodness. That's Blinders, you know?
Yeah.
But she's a bit more, and you know, I think one of the, I did come up with an answer actually. She makes choices that are a bit self-serving in a way that's not always like it puts other people in stressful situations.
Amen.
which I try not to do. I'm a little bit more conscientious and empathetic and compassionate. I still think Julie has compassion, but she just does things in a way, again, like it's not, you could say it's selfish, maybe, but I think for me to justify it, she just has blinders. She just sees what she sees. She has tunnel vision. And it's not until after someone says, these are the consequences of your actions, this is how I felt, that she goes, oh, okay, I didn't see that. But like for me as a person, I try to factor that in.
Yeah.
When I make big choices.
The conscientiousness was an after effect of with Julie.
Yes. I think she grows into her. I think so a little bit.
I think she does.
Working with the kids in season 5.
And
oddly enough, because I was so like, actually there were scenes where I was just teaching in front of the students, right?
Yeah.
And there were moments when I actually got a little nervous that Julie would be getting a little nervous because I was actually in front of all these kids.
Yeah.
And they're all just kind of staring at you like, and then there was one point when I had a little monologue and I memorized it. And they do this sometimes, not always, but sometimes they do in film where they rewrite it. And they literally hand it to you and they're like, okay, action. And like I had like 30, like I felt like I had 30 seconds to somehow make these big changes.
Man.
And I kept stumbling over certain lines. And one of the girls, I don't remember which one, she's so sweet though. She was like, and like you could tell I was getting a little stressed because like I was just like, I'm the showrunner, was on set that day and I hadn't met him yet. And I just didn't want to look like unprofessional. That's my biggest fear in life is like not seeming professional. So I'm off to the side, like kind of looking at it again, going like this. And this little girl was just like, excuse me. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, is this your first acting job? And I was like, no, but it seems like it, doesn't it? And she was just like, you're doing a good job. And I was like, oh, God bless you. Like she could tell that I was like nervous and off to the side. And it was just something working with the kids that even made me, because I'm always great with, like, not to be like, I'm great with kids, but I've always had a good rapport with kids, but I've never done a class. Like I've never done like a full, but that was a fun learning experience.
Yeah.
For me and for Julie. I learned something.
Yeah. That's just precious.
I wonder if it was Ava.
Yeah, Ava Grace.
No, it wasn't Ava. No,
it wasn't Ava.
I think I trying to remember because I remembered all their names, but it wasn't one of the main actors.
Okay,
so I think she was background or
then we wouldn't know her name.
She has a bigger part. I'm not sure. I haven't seen the most recent, like I haven't seen all of season 7. So, but yeah,
they cast some great kids in Hope Valley. They all seem so precious.
Very sweet kids.
Yeah,
well-behaved children. Like I would be, I don't know. I'd get all, like I've worked with kids in other projects and all the kids on those scenes were pros.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It comes off on screen too. I mean, that's the one thing I always say. I'm like, the kids, they're just so cute and they're perfect.
She does, believe me.
I gush on the kids all the time. So speaking of season 1, Kami has a fun question because this certain person you run into years later outside of When Calls the Heart.
So you had a lot of scenes with John Reardon, who played Nate Tolliver, and I'm sorry, Nathaniel. So do you have any favorite scenes that you filmed with John?
Oh my goodness. I think, not to be like, every scene was amazing, but every scene was great. He's such a pro. And he's the sweetest guy.
That's so nice to hear.
I would say I really liked, I think there were scenes when I first opened the cabin door. I remember this day very specifically because it was a longer day and we had scenes where it's just the two of us.
Right.
And we got to, because something you don't necessarily see, or know about with film, it takes a very long time to shoot a short scene. And there's a lot of downtime in between shots. So we end up talking to, every the crew and the rest of the cast, and just because it was the two of us, we really got to bond. So I felt like that helped our chemistry then.
Absolutely.
Later, because then the next day we had to do the kissing scenes.
Right. Kind of need to form some kind of bond if you're going to do that.
Some chemistry.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you don't. Honestly, there have been times when you just literally show up on set and you have to, the first kiss is the
3, 2, 1, go.
Exactly.
Oh,
And so that was nice. And he was just so lovely. And the other scene I loved doing with him was the slap scene, because I've never slapped a person before. Now I can put that on my resume. And I felt really badly because the first time I slapped him, so we again, it wasn't like I wasn't going to rehearse slapping him, but the director's like, I really want you to slap him.
Uh-huh.
And John was like, I can handle it. Like,
I can take it.
I can take it. I've been And so I was like, okay. So then I go up like Julie, and then I slap him, and I turn around and I do this little smile and I walk away. And the director was like, I love it, but like save the smile for when you go back to Elizabeth.
Oh.
You have to shoot it again. I was like, I have to slap him twice.
Oh,
I was like, okay. And I got to slap him. I was like, I'm so sorry. He was like, oh no, it's fine. He was like such a gentleman about it.
That's so funny.
That was fun.
It's not me. It's scripted. See, it's right here.
Right.
It's like, quit messing it up.
That was one of Caroline's questions. She was like, I really want to ask about the slap.
Yeah,
like, okay.
she wanted.
It was a real slap. And I really, because like I wanted, I didn't want to hurt him, but I also teach him a lesson because he kidnapped me.
Yeah.
That wasn't nice. Deserves a slap. So that was a fun scene. And he was just so lovely about it. Yeah. And now I can say I've slapped someone. I've never slapped anyone since and before. And there you go. Life experience.
Well, the trophy goes to John Reardon, the first person to be slapped by Charlotte Hegele.
And the only.
And the only. So then you got to reunite with John during Hudson and Rex. That must have been so fun.
It was lovely. He is still the same lovely individual, and I'm really proud of him because that's like to be the he carries so does of course the dog, Rex. They both carry the show, but he to be the lead of a show like that is fantastic. And he does such a good job, and they just keep shooting. Like honestly, I think they're already in season 3 or something, or it just and my character, it was really hard because I love dogs. Like they're my favorite. They're one of my favorite animals. And the premise of the episode is that my character kind of flirts with John's character, and because we also already have that chemistry that was established in When Calls the Heart, so it wasn't very hard for us to be like a little flirty. And the dog though wants him to get with the other, like to get with the female cop. So the dog the whole time is just like he's like doing very good dog acting, and the entire time I just want to like pet the dog in between because again, like it's a lot of downtime. I just want to play with the dog in between shots, and the trainer was just like, no, because the dog really, like if you start bonding with the dog now, he's going to want to come up to you in the shots. It's going to be
not a good idea.
And to not like you, so you just have to ignore him. And I was like, this is a nightmare. Like, I have to be on set all day and ignore the lead actor of the show. And then like finally at the end, when they finally cut, I got to play with the dog for like 15 minutes, and John and I took a photo with them. It was so sweet. But like in my mind, I was like, this is going to be the best job ever. And then it's like, you can't pet the dog. And it's like, what? I have to do like 15 hours of not petting a dog.
I know, and having the dog just sit there and judge you,
I know, it was so funny. And it's the other, I know this has nothing to do with When Calls the Heart. But
go ahead.
Fun tidbit I didn't know about dog acting. There are 3 different dogs for that one dog, like character.
Ooh, okay.
They all have their specialties. So one of the dogs is really like agile. So he does all the jumping over the cop cars and like fast down the street. The second dog is really good at being aggressive. So he'll do like if he has to take a bad guy down, like he'll do the work with the stunt guy and grab his arm and pull him down. And the final dog that's the dog I got to work with. He's the star. He does all the nuanced acting. So he does the tilt of the head and the like acting.
The close-ups.
The close-ups, yeah. Yeah. So I thought that was hilarious.
That's so fun.
My goodness.
So young Julie, we've already talked about her free-spiritedness and, you know, the blinders on and her tunnel vision and everything.
Yeah.
But what do you think her mindset was for always pursuing, quote unquote, the wrong guy? Now, obviously Nate was definitely the wrong guy.
Definitely the wrong guy.
Tom, debatable. Again, season 2, Tom. Season 6? Five, Tom.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Five,
much better. You know?
okay.
Yeah. That is a good question. Why do any of us end up with the wrong person once in a while, you know?
Yeah.
I think that Julie, I think she's just like a hopeless romantic. I think she just thinks that, okay, well, maybe if we really want to dive into the psychology of it, I think that part of her story and part of her identity is a relationship. I think she really, because also she's not she's the baby of the family, probably used to being taken care of and spoiled. So she's wanting someone in adulthood. Part of her identity is to continue that narrative where someone will take care of her, someone will love her like unconditionally. And I think sometimes she doesn't necessarily love herself that much. I find when you make choices that are really quite toxic, like when you step back from it and go, well, why did you fall in love with a kidnapper? Like that was a bad choice. It's just like, it's because you are trying to overcome some sort of personal flaw maybe, or personal struggle.
Yeah.
I think she just doesn't, I think that's the great thing with playing Julie for 6 seasons is that she really starts to, like, I love when she starts to love herself. And I think that if and when Julie comes back to Hope Valley, that there will be even more. I don't get a say in the writing, but I would hope that there would be more development for self-love. I think that's where it was aiming with her following her like an artistic career.
Right.
Because that was her then standing on her own 2 feet and going, I can handle this world without a man.
Right.
Yeah. Season 1, season 2, Julie was very much, I don't necessarily love myself that much.
I need a man.
I need someone to show me the love that I can't show myself.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, why she made some questionable choices. But
right.
we've all been young.
Oh yeah.
We've all questionable choices.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I think for Julie too, it was like you said, she wanted her feet in both worlds, right? So she wanted to be the independent one and go out like Elizabeth, but then she also liked the comforts of home. And she also liked the comforts of being cared for and coddled and the trust fund and the money and the fancy clothes and everything. But then there's these guys and they're like on this side of the world. So, I mean, and from when you're young at like 20 years old and you've been sheltered when Julie's very sheltered.
Very sheltered.
It looks adventurous.
It looks like so much fun. Like, hey, that's a cute guy.
That's a very good point. I think this also, for me, when I was doing the first season, this was sort of Julie's first big adventure.
Yeah.
That was what I was telling myself too. So this was her, and then she doesn't know that you shouldn't kiss strange men you find in the woods. Well, she knows, but she doesn't really like follow that cautious like side of her. So she really just dives into this is a dream, this is, and so I think I kind of get it.
Yeah.
I get
the historical version of playing a virtual reality game.
You know what it is too? I think because you said when you're young, but I see her because she was so sheltered. It's almost as if she was in high school. When I was playing her, I felt like I was playing someone like 6 years younger than who I am.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah. So I have a really quick question about season 2 that I'm dying to know.
Okay.
The car. When you were driving the car, did you actually get to drive that old antique or did they pull the rope trick?
I'm trying to remember. I think I did drive it, but it wasn't really driving. Like, I think I literally pressed it and it went like 2 feet and like we drove off, but really it was just moving forward a little bit.
It got out of
I
frame.
don't think I actually, but I think they had to like then pull it back, or someone would come in and then like reverse it and then pull it. But I don't even know if it was like, it's such an old car. I don't remember if they could easily reverse it. Like I think they might have just pulled it back a little bit. But also it was a few years ago and I'm now 30, so I forget things. I will say, I know that for some of the cars in the show, they're obviously real. Like you can obviously drive them.
Right.
I don't remember though. I'm pretty sure like I didn't, because if I had to actually drive down the street or something, I would have remembered that. But that scene is sort of, she's learning and it's on like, I would think it was like a dirt.
It was
I think
kind
we were
of,
just in the back road. And I honestly feel like, if my memory is correct, I maybe pressed on the gas and went like a couple feet, because they also didn't want to have to reset it so much like every time, because then you have to like pull it because all the lighting is set up, right? So they have to get the car right to the right spot again.
Yeah, that makes sense. So season 5, season 6, Julie, you took a hiatus for a few years. So what was it like jumping back? And before you answer that, I just have to say, Hearties all over the world from season 3 and season 4. We've missed Julie so much. And I remember for season 5, I was like, Elizabeth and Jack are getting married. We need to have Julie back at this wedding. Not that I have any say, but we have to have Julie back.
Well, we were all wondering what happened to her, because season 2 had that huge cliffhanger of the telephone, and then Julie ran away. And so what happened to Julie?
I know. I was like, I honestly felt so, because it was Julie. You're right. There was the cliffhanger with the phone. And then in season 5, it's explained that I went to a friend's, and then I came back. Was it explained in the show? Because that was my first question when they asked me back, because I thought I was going to be in season 3, to be honest, because of the way that it ended. I just assumed. But then in season 5, when they were like, "Oh, you're going to come back to Hope Valley for a visit," I was like, can someone explain to me then where Julie went? And I think what was explained to me, but I mean, I guess it didn't make it into the series, was that she went to a friend's house or something, but then ended up coming back because it's Julie and she isn't quite ready yet to make that character development where you have to see it on screen. So that's what they saved for season 5.
Right.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
So, but that was because as an actor, you want to have it justified. You want to have all the loose ends tied up. And then also with Tom, it kind of makes me sad, because I wish that it had been like some sort of like, I don't know, with Tom, it just seemed like when he came back, I was like, oh no, it didn't feel like I was running into an ex-boyfriend. It's just like, hi. And then he was all like, hi. And I was like, okay, hi. It was fun to play with that scene out.
You both played the discomfort so well. Julie, Tom, hello.
Yeah.
So then my question too was like, how much have we kept in contact since season 2? And I guess the answer was little. Like it was like maybe letters here and there, and then it's just sort of, it was the old-fashioned way of ghosting.
Right.
Yeah. Makes total sense.
But I liked how it ended in season 5, how we both were kind of at the dance, or like at the wedding, at the wedding on the side of the dance floor. Yeah. I thought that was sweet, how we had that moment. Yeah. So it just sort of leaves it open.
Yeah, and that's what I liked about it too, because I know that was like, we see, and when Tom showed up, I mean, my mind was just like floating here, just because we haven't seen your characters in so many years. And then also, Father Thatcher is in town too. So I was like, this is going to be something. But
what's Daddy going to say?
Right. But I loved the ending for Julie and Tom. I mean, because it's ended, and we can explore that hopefully in later seasons.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you have any thoughts on what happened to Julie and Tom after the wedding?
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I honestly, it's hard for me to say because you never want to put out a certain story into the world and for it not to be the real story they end up writing.
Right.
But my hope would be that she takes time to love, like that was really the thing, is like she's taking time to love herself. Maybe she becomes a career woman, and wouldn't it be fantastic if she comes back like maybe an artist, maybe a like a respectable artist that she's maybe gone to Europe or something and taken like, and comes back like very like much better or like has a different style, or maybe even I don't know what time period, like what year would it be, season 8? Not that I can say she's coming back season
1917.
But wouldn't it be fun if we could look up like how art was changing in that time, and maybe she comes back and she's got the progressive art style or something different, and she's just really found herself. I think as much as it was great as it would be to wrap her up and make her like get her married, like have Julie married and have that storyline, maybe she finds more happiness in a different route, and I think that would be more exciting. And then she finds love after she has that journey. But I still think my gut tells me she's still in that journey, and that if she does come back to the show, that journey is seen on camera still.
Yeah. That makes total sense. And also with Tom also has the same struggles as Julie, because I don't think he likes himself either all that much, and all his struggles too.
He likes himself more now.
Well, of course he likes himself more now, but I love just knowing that both of them grew apart and in different ways, but they still grew. They're still maturing. And, you know, because Tom is a tire salesman or whatever. And
drives a fancy car.
Yeah. And then there wasn't a lot of heat between Julie and Tom, but there was definitely that spark. Tom and Julie, they could just be friends and just have that history and have that kindred spiritness, I guess, or they can end up together. Who knows? But it's always fun to, speculate.
Yeah. Well, they're always going to have the connection now with baby Jack, because I'm always going to be his aunt, or Julie's always going to be his aunt, and Tom's always going to be his uncle.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Their stories have now become officially entwined.
Yeah.
There's no take backs.
Tom still has to meet baby Jack. So
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So in season 6, was it already planned that you would visit Hope Valley? Or was that a rewrite? And do you have any fun stories that you can share during your time on set?
Yes. Okay. It was a rewrite. That being said, I was so thrilled to be able to step back.
That must have been fun.
Anytime you can step back into a character's shoes is such a gift.
Yeah.
So I did the oh my goodness, christening scene.
Yes.
Yeah. And so the final shot, you think I'm holding the actor who plays baby, or the 2 actors, right? That play baby Jack. I don't know what are their names. Do you remember their names?
Connor and Lincoln.
The cutest names. I didn't actually get to meet them because for the rewrite, they weren't able to, they had conflicting schedules.
And they were too big.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
They've
true.
grown. That's exactly it. So I had to actually hold a different baby, and then they were able to edit it together.
Right.
On the day, the little baby I was holding was just like, she was fine for like the whole wait up until action, and then for some reason bursts into tears, starts to scream. And they're just like, just smile. And I'm just like this. And like, it's like, wah, wah! And she's like looking around, flailing, looking for her mom. And then like, I'm doing everything I can. They're like, don't look at the baby. Look at Aaron. And Aaron's there being like, you're doing great. You're doing great. And then Aaron's like trying to like do something with the baby to make it stop screaming. And I'm just like, I'm so happy to be back. It's just the best experience. And then I was like, I'm like usually good with kids, but that like, and then the mom, oh my goodness, the mom was like, I'm so sorry. She was so good. And you can't help it when you're a baby.
Yeah,
sometimes you just get fussy and you don't want to act.
Of
You don't want to be
course.
held by a strange redheaded lady with a camera right on you.
Right.
You just want to go back and hang out with your mom.
Yeah.
So that was a stress. And we did the whole scene. Like they shot me, I think, twice. And they did the whole, like every line of the scene as if we had really been doing the whole thing. Just to give me like the realistic, like, so it's not like they just shot like just my like lines for that scene. They did the whole thing for me.
Yeah.
Which you'd think normally would be great, but when you have a screaming, crying baby, you're just like, can we like pick this up so I can give this baby back to its mom?
Yeah.
Her mom. It's like, ooh. But anyway, it was very cute. It turned out, I think, to be kind of nice to have Julie back as the godmother, I think. Because I mean, as much as Elizabeth and Julie are different, I think having that family connection, I always found that as independent as watching it, sorry, not as speaking as the character or the actor of Julie, but speaking as a viewer, I always found that Elizabeth did find like importance in having her family around, and also like having the correspondence with Julie. There were times too when I would like come back on set and I hadn't seen the earlier episodes in the season, so I would ask Erin, has she been writing to Julie? Like what have they been saying in earlier, like give me the scoop. And she would like tell me, oh right, like I mentioned Julie in this thing, or I mentioned Julie in this scene, and this is what we're talking about. So like I would know then everything about her life. So that would be, I think it was important also to have her there. Yeah. And I was thrilled to be back. And then all the other scenes that Julie's in season 6 were separate, sort of like it wasn't like a redo. It was just they were added.
Oh,
yeah.
I always wondered what Julie's reaction would be to Jack's death. Because that was of course off script. So
well, I'll tell you.
Okay. Lay it on us.
I was like so sad. I think as a viewer, I was devastated. Like it was devastating. I was so sad.
Join the club.
And to watch Erin's performance.
Oh, so like you watched that?
I was just like floored.
You got to watch the episode then.
She did a phenomenal job. Like that was and it was just so, and it made me cry. Like she was just so tragic. And but then speaking as an actor, I know that's what happens sometimes, right? Like people's careers and their paths change, and they had to find a realistic enough way, like why else would Jack not be on the show?
Exactly.
Right. He would have to pass away, but then it's just so sad. So I think Julie was in mourning definitely for that, because she always was team Jack. All the way. She was shipping that since the moment she laid eyes on the two of them, and she's who's that man? And like what was I can't remember what was the line, but like the red.
I'm more interested in your man in red serge, I think is the line.
That's it, red serge. That's it. You okay? Know your stuff, right on.
They don't call me
once or twice.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, her memory is fantastic. My memory is shot. All right. So what was your favorite episode with Julie? Or favorite scene?
I really liked Julie's first moment. I think that's great. That like, because you can also tell if a character is going to be like pretty epic and fun to play. If the first, because it's about the character introduction, like you have to show a lot of personality. Like they choose, like you think when you see a series, sometimes you think it's just arbitrary how they set up a character's moment when you were introduced to the characters introduced to the audience.
Right.
But then there's Julie's moment, which is like done very dramatically, and she's on the horse and she's on like a beautiful lavender outfit and the sun is shining, and it's just that moment for me. What a fantastic way to introduce this character to the world. I knew it was a very special part after reading that in the script. And I also really liked working, as I said earlier, with the kids. 5. I found that very, very interesting. Yeah. Because they were all just so professional.
Yeah.
Not to say that I'm not professional, but I was in awe because not only were they just very sweet kids, like they were like young performers, they clearly really enjoyed their job.
Yeah.
And they were also just so sweet. There were moments like there was one scene where I had to play a game where I was blindfolded.
Oh yes.
And that was actually like a lot of fun to play. We were actually playing and we had to do it. Like I didn't know how long there, because they had I think it was Aaron, I can't remember the other actor, but they had two people in the foreground and then they had me playing in the background.
Right.
They had us the whole like for maybe like they shot it so many times. We were maybe playing for like 45 minutes.
Man, you must have been dizzy.
Wow.
I was a little dizzy, but they were just so sweet. Like they were, and they were like, "Are you like you're good? Like are you okay?" Like and like, "Oh, the scene is done now. You can peek out." And they were just very sweet and like taking care of me.
Oh,
it was lovely. It was nice to play, and that's also just the fun. It was so much fun as an actor when you just get to play.
Well, and most of those kids weren't around when you came in season 1.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
It was a brand new experience for them to meet Miss Thatcher's sister.
Right.
So, yeah.
Makes a lot of sense here. So, Kami, do you have any other questions for When Calls the Heart before we move on to just one quick last segment?
No, I think I have satiated my curiosity.
Yes. So really fast, because we have our rapid fire questions segment. But before that, the next project that you are in is a very country Christmas homecoming, which is a lot of words.
It is
Say that 3 times fast.
I can't. I've tried.
That's a lot. Were you filming during COVID? I think that's kind of what we thought, maybe.
Yeah. So we were actually. It's very interesting the timing. So COVID was happening when we were shooting, but we wrapped, I think, on like Thursday or Friday, and then by Monday, all the productions shut down.
Oh my goodness.
So we were really lucky. But I remember because on the last day of set, I was chatting with the other actors and they were all talking about COVID and being like, and kind of like swapping theories and stuff. And I think at that point it was really bad, but we were kind of in denial that it was going to affect us personally. Right. And we had no idea, obviously, like how, to the extent that it would affect everyone's, in like everyone's lives, but also everyone's industries.
Right.
So now I do, like, the biggest changes for me is that I don't feel comfortable going into in-person auditions. So, but if you do, you have to wear a mask up until the very point when they say action, and then you take your mask off and then do your acting and then put it back on and leave. And so for me, I've been trying to stay as safe as possible and stay at home and do auditions like this, like over Zoom or shoot it myself and then send it. Yeah. But it's definitely changed a lot for film and TV. And I know too that now you have to get tested. I think like everyone in the crew and the cast have to be tested before you can start shooting. So it's just, and you have to get tested while you're shooting to like make sure that everyone's still safe. And so people are definitely, people are definitely taking every precaution they can with it. But I haven't actually been on a set myself while COVID's been happening.
Oh, wow.
But
yeah, I know When Calls the Heart, season 8 just wrapped, and they had Paul Green said he tested like 1 million times, I think. I think it was like 80 something times
oh my word. I didn't hear that.
Yeah, wow. It was a lot because I think they filmed for almost 90 days.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, if you're doing it every day,
you have to be careful.
You have to be really careful.
Be safe than sorry, right? For sure.
But they had no COVID tests or no positives. So
that's what
Brian Bird said. So
great.
fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. So our last segment, Rosemary's rapid fire questions. And we came up with that because Rosemary has the newspaper and they have the gossip column. But this isn't gossip because it's about you.
And Rosemary talks a mile a minute. So
I was going to say, yeah, she also asked, I feel like, rapid fire questions.
Yes, she's just like, okay. So first question is, favorite set or location from When Calls the Heart?
I love the church because it was my favorite to shoot into. It was just there were times right before like the crew came on where you would just sit there by yourself and the light would come in the windows and they've got it set up for the classroom. It just felt very at peace there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And with the lake outside the window.
Oh my goodness. It's so romantic. It's so beautiful. Yeah.
Oh my word. Outside of your own character, what character would you most want to play?
Okay. I would want to play, I really liked Faith.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I like a good career woman, or I would play a female Mountie. Because why not?
Ooh. Yeah.
I want to be the hero. I want to ride a horse again, obviously. And it went so well the first time. And I would want to save the day sometimes. That would be fun.
Yeah.
I think I'd look good in red.
Of course.
Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I just thought of this. Julie would be really good friends with Fiona, the telephone operator.
Julie would be good friends with Fiona. Yeah.
Fiona's really savvy. She's a career woman and she shows her ankles, which,
oh boy.
dear, cover the eyes, at least according to Florence and Molly. Right?
I think you're right. I think Julie would start showing her ankles.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
What modern convenience would you take back to 1910?
Oh, this was a good question. I was thinking like my laptop, but because I'd want to watch movies.
Okay. Yeah.
To be honest, yeah. Like I think we take for granted how awesome it is, because like this is such a big, for me, film and TV is such a big part of my life.
Oh yes.
But I don't think I could easily never see a Pixar movie again.
Right.
Like I want to cry again with, the characters of Up or Wall-E.
Yeah.
Wall-E. I haven't thought about that movie in forever.
Yeah.
Would you rather eat at the saloon or Abigail's Cafe?
Okay, so Julie would eat at the saloon 100% because I think those are where all the hunks are hanging out.
Yes.
But I would hang out at Abigail's Cafe because that's more my speed. I'd like to have like a nice tea in the lace. It's just, and I got to shoot in there too. So yeah, it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like I could do some good sketching and some good art sitting there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Who would you rather work for? If there's 4 you can choose from.
Okay.
And you can answer this as you, Charlotte, or as Julie, or both, whatever you want. So Gowan and the Petroleum Company, Lee and his lumber mill, Lucas and the saloon, Yost and the mercantile, or Fiona and the telephone.
I didn't know there was a 5th option. Maybe
Neither did I. I just threw that out there because I was like, you know what?
All right. I was originally going to say the mercantile just because I think Julie would love to get the latest shopping. Like, she'd be interested in like organizing everything, and But I think the phone. Yeah, I think that would be more exciting. Yeah.
Especially for Julie.
Oh,
yeah.
Just really get all the scoop.
Like, yeah, she'd just be like, "Oh no, I'm hanging up. I'm okay." And then just like listening. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I'm hanging up now. I swear. Okay, bye. Just be like, Snoopy.
Yes, and then she'd run over to Elizabeth and be like, "Listen to what I just heard."
You're never gonna believe what Molly is making for dinner.
I love it.
All right, burning question time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Is Julie Team Nathan or Team Lucas?
This is the hardest question of
I
the
know.
whole interview. That's why you left it to the end.
That's why.
Exactly.
And then is Charlotte Team Nathan or Team Lucas?
Ooh, I think Julie is probably team both, and I know that's like such a bad answer, but because they're both cuties,
Yeah.
you know. And I think Julie would just want Elizabeth to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the main. So whoever, and they kind of go back and forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like in the story to who, obviously, who's going to make her happiest. Like
Right.
whoever makes her happiest is who Julie would be standing behind. But it's
Yeah.
ships. So
Yeah.
I think she'd be supportive of Elizabeth.
I feel like young Julie, season 1, season 2 Julie would be like, whichever, yes, Lucas,
Yeah,
whichever one you don't pick.
Okay, right. That fair point. Fair point.
There was some talk about what if Julie got together with Lucas and then Elizabeth can get together with Nathan. So.
Yes. I'd tidy that the triangle up really quick.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. I don't know. As me speaking, I don't know who I am. I plead the fifth. Jury's still out. I still have to see how this is gonna pan out.
Fair
enough. Team Elizabeth.
Team Elizabeth. Always Team Elizabeth for sure. Now Team Baby Jack.
There you go. That's a huge team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, Charlotte, thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to us all about Julia and taking that walk down memory lane, because I know it's been a while since season 1. Crazy 8 seasons now. And we certainly hope that we see you back in Hope Valley in future seasons. I mean, we will take it to Twitter, start a hashtag campaign. Bring Julie back to Hope Valley.
Bring Julie back.
I love that.
Julie back.
Yeah, bring Julie back.
Bring Julie back.
I'll retweet it.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be a little, it's like, okay, Charlotte, obviously. All right. Yeah. But it's like, no, I'll do it. I have no shame.
No.
Oh, yeah. But it means so much. And that's the thing with Hearties. Like, I just am so lucky to be on a show with such passionate and loving fans. And it's not even just a fan group, it's a community now. Right?
Oh yeah.
So it really is.
It's amazing. It's phenomenal.
And it's exploded over the years too. I mean, so many.
Blessed. And it's so interesting because it's like quite a range of viewers, like of the viewership. It's like I get young women who are in college stop me, and then I also get like older couples be like, I know you, like, aren't you on something I've been watching? And then I list it all off and they're like, it's When Calls the Heart, that's what it is. And you're like, oh, okay. So
my kids are fans. So.
And then it's a great family, like, because it's one of those shows too that I don't feel I'd like recommend. I can say anyone can watch it.
Yeah,
you know, it's a show that anyone can watch, and you don't have to be worried if it's not appropriate.
Right.
Yeah, and it's got great themes, so that's good.
Yes,
it's true.
Absolutely. True. Well, do you have any social media that you want to shout out?
Well, of course, always. I have my Instagram, which is Charlotte Emma Hegele. I've got my Twitter, which is just Charlotte Hegele. If you Google Charlotte Hegele, you'll go to my website and you can find a link to both of those pages. But I'm more active on Instagram. I meet a lot of dogs in my wanderings, daily wanderings, and I often ask, like, can I take a picture with your dog? And they're like, okay. And so I mainly post pictures of me and dogs. But personally, that's quality content right there.
Of course,
yes. Absolutely.
That's what we need in 2020. We need people and their dogs, or people and somebody else's dog. That is what we need.
Cute puppies. It was so funny. I asked my friend Tia if I could take a picture with her puppy, because now everyone's getting a puppy, right? Like it's something with COVID in the air. Everyone's like hunkering down and getting a cute dog. Right. And my friend Tia got a golden retriever puppy. Oh, I take a picture with Shadow, and then Tia, I know Tia from high school. She's just like, of course, isn't that like your brand or your aesthetic? And I was like, I've been called out, but it's so true. So then I am like holding a dog being like, yeah.
Oh, that's precious.
But anyway, thank you both so much. This was so much fun.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate you guys including me in this. I'm excited to listen to your other interviews.
Yes.
You've done interviews with, have you done interviews with Aaron? And
Not yet.
We haven't yet, but we've done Brian Bird, and then we've done Andrew Walker, who played Billy Hamilton, and Jill Morrison. And now you. So,
lovely. Well, then I'll have to listen to those 3 and then keep tabs on it and see who else you get on.
Yeah,
we're gunning for certain people. And now that season 8 has wrapped, we're like, we're coming.
Like, who can we get next?
We're coming for you.
Yes.
You can't hide from us forever.
Name it and claim it.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. All right, Hearties, make sure you follow Charlotte and the Hearties Hotline. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. What the heck? I forgot. It's Christmas.
Sorry.